Say hello to the Book of Mormon. Ben Brantley of the New York Times says the Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. Vogue raves it's the best new American musical of the last 25 years. I've never heard such roof-shaking laughter cheers Vanity Fair. Entertainment Weekly calls it the funniest musical of all time. Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show says it's genius, it's brilliant, it's phenomenal. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, The Book of Mormon. Performances begin February 12th at Robinson Performance Hall. Visit celebrityattractions.com.
Good afternoon, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, January 31st. We're through 1 month of the winter. Well, I mentioned yesterday that Asa Hutchinson was going to announce a change in his income tax cut plan, and indeed he did. He's going to cut the amount the state is going to have to give up in the form of tax cuts from $192 million a year to $97 million a year. But boy, is it a change. Nearly all of the benefits are going to go to people on the higher end of the income scale. That is, people making more than $80,000 a year. There's going to be a tiny little bit of benefit to people in the middle class, but nothing that counts for much. 5% of the savings are likely to go to the top 2% of income earners in Arkansas. 15% of the money are going to go to people making that is 15% of all Arkansans are going to get almost 100% of the savings. Just to give you some idea of how this will work, if you make $200,000 a year, you're going to get a $1,200 income tax cut. If you make $1 million a year, you're going to make $3,000 or $4,000 in income tax cut. If you make $50,000 a year, you're going to get a tax cut of 40 cents a week. Feel better now? Feel like maybe this favors a certain income class over the one you're in? Perhaps so. Well, elsewhere in the news today, the Arkansas State Supreme Court finally put an end to a lawsuit that aimed to stop a Fayetteville local ordinance that protects LGBT people. The state passed a law to prevent local civil rights ordinances, and a group wanted an injunction against the local ordinance, and they succeeded today before the Arkansas Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had earlier ruled that it is within the state constitution for the Arkansas legislature to preempt local ordinances, and they said we meant that when we said it. An intervening group had tried to raise a question about the constitutionality of the state law under the U.S. Constitution. It clearly was passed to discriminate against gay people, to protect discrimination against gay people. The Supreme Court said that issue hadn't been properly raised yet. What this means is if that ordinance is to survive, if there is to be any civil rights protections on the local level for gay people, it's going to have to come from a new lawsuit. But for now, legalized discrimination is the law of the land in Arkansas. More lawsuit news. This from the American Atheists. They're suing State Senator Jason Rapert for blocking critical comments on his social media, Twitter and Facebook accounts. He said that's his personal account and he can't be made to allow people to comment there. Well, the atheists say, and seek an injunction against his blockades, that he's acting as a state senator. He presents himself as a state senator. He talks about state business. He makes videos in his office. He makes photographs in his office. And they produce some 56 examples of when he's used the page clearly to do things about his public work. So we'll see. They say Jason Rapert is either incompetent or not telling the truth to the federal court. You decide which is correct in this. They announced today, Mayor Frank Scott Jr. did at Little Rock City Hall, the 10 finalists that he's going to talk to for the potential choice to lead the Little Rock Police Force. He's going to narrow that group down after talk. There are 10 people on the list. 4 of them are from Arkansas, including current Assistant Chiefs Alice Fulk and Hayward Finks, also a state police commander, Keith Aramia, and also a Saline County Deputy Sheriff are on the list. Keith Aramia, you may not remember, but I do, when he pulled a little trick on the highway on the Saturday of a Razorback game to divert attention from what was a state police speed trap. He didn't make a lot of friends with that one. Perhaps he'd do better under consideration for police chief. Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families released a new report today. It says that Arkansas is worse than most states in using ineffective forms of school discipline, corporal punishment, and out-of-school suspension particularly. Neither of these things seem to work very well, but we love to beat on kids in Arkansas, and disproportionately these bad forms of punishment go to poor children and minority children and to disabled children. Another reason that we ought to take advantage of some different ways of school punishment. The legislature today didn't do an awful lot real important, but bills are pouring in to change retirement benefits for public employees. Some of the bills are shell bills and they're not spelled out. Some are putting in place some proposals already approved by retirement boards to curb the amount of benefits and raise the amount public employees have to pay. I think we're going to hear a lot of argument on this in the days and weeks ahead. Here's some good news to think about. The new monthly Arkansas Times is out on newsstands today. Take a look. It's a big, fat, glossy issue with Frank Scott on the cover. It's a great success commercially and artistically. I urge you to take a look. And also a kind word for something mentioned by the sponsor at the top of this show. Book of Mormon is going to be on the stage at Robinson Center thanks to celebrity attractions, and it's a laugh riot, they say. You might want to take a look. I'm Max Brantley. I'm resisting otherwise. I hope you do too. I'll be back tomorrow.